This is Darren from Danger Pedigrees, and in this episode we're going to start talking about some interesting main means and methods of detecting COVID-19 and how airports, for instance, are trying to find ways to promote a sense of security for their passengers and a sense of, trying to get business back up and running. And some of these, come down to good screening and good disease control methods. So, currently, airports and travel hubs are facing financial uncertainty within the scope of COVID-19. As the virus continues to spread, more people are falling ill and passing away. Travel hubs and planes and ships are making social distance all but impossible, helping to potentially aid in super spreader events. Because when you're on a plane or you're on a ship, you're not really have anywhere to go, and the ground's right there for all the ideal cases for super spreader events. There's very little or very lack of safe air exchange. You're in very close quarters, and generally speaking, people are breathing in the same air. This is where the travel industry has been trying to come up with solutions to promote security for the traveling public, and at the same time prevent potential exposures before they happen. This can happen with pre-screening and at checkpoints, looking for travelers with higher temperatures, or with site-specific testing centers. Now there's a new method of testing: dogs. Yes, dogs. Man's best friend. Reasons for this include the structure of the dogs, or the animals in general. They have really powerful noses. Their olfactory centers, that's the area where they breathe in to smell for senses and such, are insanely developed compared to the humans, or even our most sophisticated mechanical testing means. Animals like dogs, or in some species of rats, are shown to be able to sniff out cancer, or even tuberculosis. This time, these animals are finding, COVID-19. The airport that we're talking about here is in Helsinki, and what's funny about this is this airport has brought in a team of canines to screen all of the passengers. At the airport, they're using a safe model of testing that makes people wipe a piece of, say, cloth against their skin first, followed by the canine sniffing the piece once it has been placed in a cup. This is all done in a confidential manner to make sure that people are protected against publicity that they have been any kind of infection. And another safety feature of this process is that the handlers of the dogs and the dogs themselves are protected from encountering potential corona infections. Once someone is, say, suspected of having COVID, they are taken to a secondary health center to be tested with more formal blood or nasal swabs, and basically they are given an actual full-on standard test. This process being conducted at Helsinki International Airport under the auspices of the Veterinary Research Center at Helsinki University, COVID-19 is definitely creating the condition for creativity and new approaches to dealing with infectious disease management. And the reason for this, again, is that, not all testing means are 100% accurate. And when you have additional and newer methods that are just as effective, in this case being sniffer dogs, you're ending up creating double and triple levels of risk contagion or risk management. So you've ended up creating redundant layers of pre-testing that if one fails to get, say, that you have someone with COVID-19, say like the RNA testing, or the dogs will end up effectively catching it through their own means. Pluses to using dogs or rats or animals over, say, other methods of testing is that the speed of positives or negatives. That is, you can tell pretty quickly if someone has it or they don't. When you consider that, say, RNA tests can take up to anywhere from 20 minutes up to 48 hours to get a confirmation back from the testing. Another positive of this approach is people will feel more comfortable dealing with animals over, say, more invasive testing with medical staff. In full, say, medical gear and in a more medical setting comes a more associated stress and uncomfortableness from, say, like the nasal swabs or the spit tests. Negatives that come to mind is resistance to use this method of testing. Let's think about it. A lot of people just don't really believe that dogs or rats or animals are really that effective at finding viruses, of all things. There is no proof in the policy makers' minds that, or in the public's, that this testing will really work. And that comes down to it. Regardless of the science or the actual proof on the ground, dogs or animals might also get confused by their handler's instructions and give false positive readings or even forgo giving an answer when needed. Because sometimes, for instance, a big problem that has happened with using sniffer dogs when at traffic stops, cops sometimes have given false, shall we say, hand signals to their animals because they are trying to find some reason to search someone's car. So they'll give a false, say, or an inappropriate command to the dog to make it look like the animal is found some drugs or found something incriminating, when in reality this person is innocent and the cops are just abusing their power to effect a search. The same thing can happen with, say, sniffer dogs. They're trained to a certain standard and they're trained in a certain way, but again, sometimes dogs are just dogs. They will mistake a hand gesture from their handler and give a false answer. But again, these are the pluses, these are the minuses with any new method of testing. And as such, this has been another in our series on COVID videos. I'm Darren, and this is Danger by Degrees. Help this video become viral like COVID-19, but in a positive way. COVID-19, bad viral. Danger by Degrees, good viral. If you like this video, share it, comment, or subscribe. Let's help this channel grow, and let's see where we can take this. Until next time.